Welcome back. A viewer sent me this. Event 201. I'd never heard of it. Have you?
And while some in the federal government seemed caught off guard, this very problem is something some leaders did warn about. One of the world's most accomplished innovators took to a public stage 5 years ago, warning about pandemics. It all sounds quite prescient now to hear Bill Gates' advice then.
If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war.
A 7-page document on how doctors should go about filling out a cause of death certificate.
With diagnosis of COVID-19, whether the person died or not.
The Department of Health gives advice to physicians, physician assistants, and others who certify death.
As you can see in your decision,
The doctor says the letter takes you to a CDC website that has recommendations on how to include COVID-19 as a diagnosis for someone who has never tested for COVID-19.
going on lockdown to fight the spread of COVID-19, Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. have all issued stay-at-home orders.
House Resolution 6666.
President Donald Trump has extended the nationwide safe distancing guidelines, but now he's warning restrictions may be tightened.
Welcome to the present of the daily life you live. Never ask a question in this daily life you driven to the fear. I made it abundantly clear. The devil is ever so near, cause you fed him and let him in here. What's the deal though? I'm searching up what's real though. Meditating motherfucking soldier in my steel toe still grows. The love up in my heart, man, I'll gladly hug a stranger, take the lies the fuck apart. And I dare you motherfuckers just to really think about it. Do some more than smoke some weed, post a meme or drink about it, think about it. That's a real contemplation, a real conversation about this real shit we're facing. And we want the fucking truth and it don't come from talking heads. Motherfuck the news when they're only out for bread, shit is dead. Welcome to the new world, this your new life, bitch, this your new girl. With no questions asked, that was also the past. Ain't no beauty out in public if you don't show the mask. Whoa, that was fast. No questions asked. I feel the Rona kill my family, though it left us all alive. Worse than 9/11, cause it left us all a spot. Now the rest can qualify, cause it makes us all a threat. Policing one another, oh it's on, now I bet. I'm now a terrorist for fucking free thinking. In the land of the conditioned, like what is he drinking? What is he smoking? Damn, I hope he does. The frog boils slow up in the pot until it's croaking. Welcome to the prison.
Critically important. Can you repeat what you just said, please? Well, last Friday I received a 7-page document that sort of told me that if I had an 86-year-old patient that had pneumonia but was never tested for COVID-19, but sometime after she came down with pneumonia, we learned that she had been exposed to her son, who had no symptoms, but later on was identified with COVID-19, that it would be appropriate to diagnose on the death certificate COVID-19.
So what was Event 201? It's really fascinating. In October 2019, the Johns Hopkins University pulled together the United Nations, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the head of UPS, Marriott Hotels, Lufthansa, and people from all over the world.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but my heart is sinking right now as you're telling me this. You're a doctor. Why in the world would they be sending you out information to fill out death certificates, whether the person's been diagnosed with COVID-19 or not, but then to say in the death certificate this person's death was caused by COVID-19? That does not sound right to me.
All over the world to run a simulation of a pandemic, but not any old pandemic.
And so this is concerning, and it actually gets to your point, Chris. When we start talking about the data that goes into the modeling, we have to ask ourselves the question, are we being forthright? Are we sharing with the public? We don't need to be having it sugar-coated. We want to know what's going into your modeling.
Johns Hopkins University came up with a scenario to test these business and political leaders, and it was a coronavirus outbreak.
So with that being said, why would they want to skew the number of deaths due to COVID-19?
Well, fear is a great way to control people. 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 Control people.